Next, we've reported a lot about staff shortages in various sectors, and now it seems childcare is the latest to feel the strain. Research shared exclusively with ITV News shows families are having to cope with ongoing disruption to childcare because there aren't enough workers. The Early Years Alliance has found that in the last 6 months, 84% of nurseries and preschools in England have struggled to recruit staff. Almost half have been forced to stop taking on new children or limit numbers. And more than a third of staff members said they're actively considering leaving the sector. Our correspondent Rupert Evelyn has been to visit one nursery in Bristol.
Well, this is the image that everybody wants to see, but of course creating the ideal nursery school place brings with it an awful lot of pressure for people who run them, such as Steve Sayers. You're the boss here at Windmill Hill City Farm. You know, don't you, what it's like on the front line and the pressures in terms of staffing. Just explain that to me at the moment.
Absolutely. So we're having real problems recruiting staff that we need to keep the nursery open, to keep us running. It's industry-wide, it's not just our place. We've found that over the years the funding has just not been there for the nurseries, and that's eroded pay rates, and that means that we haven't got enough staff. We're having to close the nursery, so a week last Friday we had to close this service down. We get absolutely no notice, so 7 o'clock in the morning we find that a couple of members of staff can't come in for whatever reason, and then we've got about an hour before we're due to open. We've even had where parents have turned up to find that the gate's closed.
There are all sorts of reasons behind this, but fundamentally for you this is an investment by the government?
Yeah, I mean basically that's the origin of it. You know, the government promises to parents that they will have free childcare, and then they fail to pay nurseries enough to actually cover the cost of that. Costs us about £7 to offer what government pays us about £5 for, and that's just not sustainable.
Even though, and you know this as well as I do, the government will say, yes, but we're investing in early years education, we're already one of the, we pump millions and millions into this and we'll continue to do so, but it's not enough.
Well, I've seen the headlines, £160 million extra coming this year into the system, but it's got to come through the local authorities first before it gets to us, and that's spread very thinly. It's across the whole country. It sounds like a big number, but it's going to be pence per hour that's going to be added to anything if we get it in the end.
If you get it. All right. Well, Steve Sayers, thank you very much for talking to us. The pressures are clearly mounting on this sector, and fundamentally the real problem here is that it's all down to money.